Review of the parts that come with the chest mod, the actuating chest mod. You'll have an envelope with a bunch of little screws and bits in it. You'll have the lid bracket with or without the lighting mod installed if you ordered it. And it can be installed later if you did not order it. And then this hinge will be attached already loosely with all the hardware, and purposely loosely. This plug obviously will only exist if you have the lighting mod. Included also is this rod that's been cut to an approximate length already, and on it is this clevis that, using the install method that we're going to use, you won't need that, so it just unscrews. It's just threaded on there, but we included it in case you want to do it differently. Then you have the entire bracket that goes under the playfield. On there is this servo already installed with the forearm like propeller thing that we call it. This doesn't need to be four, it could just be one. It's just what was used originally, so that's what's on here. It just screws on in the center there if you wanted to move it or change it. And then already attached to it is this little brass coupler with a hex set screw on it. So that's what this rod is going to slide through to attach it to the servo, and that's how you're going to tighten it down. Also on this bracket is this little switch that's already bent for you, hopefully to match up with your game. You can bend this tang up or down if you need to. Definitely suggest that you hold the switch closed and use some pliers to move it while you're holding it closed. Otherwise you'll rip that tang off. Also included is this controller with these 4 pins. That's where the lighting mod controller plugs in if you have it. And then coming off of this are the connectors for everything. So if you need to swap anything in or out, there's the lighting mod connector, the servo and the switch are plugged in there, and then this is the power connector that's going to plug in line with your game. In this envelope, you're going to have most, if not all, of these things. The one thing that will differ from each game, from each order, may be this keypad. This is the lighting mod controller keypad. If you didn't order the lighting mod, you won't have this. If you get it later, you'll get one of these and you just plug it right in. If you did get this, you're going to eventually plug it into the controller on those 4 pins that we looked at, this header, and the buttons that are sticking out of this guy point towards the Arduino like this. If you put them in the other way, they're going to be backwards. So you just put those in the holes and push it all the way down. Make sure it's all the way seated, and that's it. You can install it later. It doesn't need to be put in right now. And then the rest of these items are these little thumb nuts that we've included that you can use to secure the lid onto the chest bracket if you don't want to use the nuts you took off with the ratchet wrench or whatever. So you can use these to spin them back on and hold the lid on, or you can use them somewhere else if you wanted. They're sort of directional. They're made out of a metallic plastic hybrid, so they're pretty strong, and you can see that this edge on the outside has a ridge, and this hole on the inside is sort of tapered. I don't know if you can see it, but that tapered side is the leading edge you want to put on first. This ridge is the back side you want to put on last. That will make it screw on the easiest, and it will sort of get tighter as it gets to this back side, like a locking nut, and will get harder to turn, so you want to put that on last. So there's 2 of those if you need them or want to use them. There's 4 of these black screws. Those are what attach the black bracket to the underside of your playfield. There are 4 of these stainless screws. That's what attach the lid bracket to your lid. This is an extra attachment for the bushing that's on the servo. So if you wanted to move the bushing, change the arm, do any reconfiguration, right on the back here of this bushing is a metal press fit connector. So you can see it's sort of pressed onto that brass nub there. We've already done that for you, so if you're not wanting to make any custom changes, you're good. You don't need to do anything. But we included an extra one. This is a plastic one that came with the servo connection kit, and so you have it there if you want to use it. And then we've also included the 2-arm actuator arm there, so if you wanted to swap it out for some reason, you have the 2. It doesn't matter, you're only using 1 arm either way. And then this nut is how we're going to use, or how we're going to connect the rod to the chest lid, using the method that we're using for installation. All the parts here to do it are here to do it a different way that was posted about on the thread for the mod. So if you wanted to do it that way, all the parts are here and you can reconfigure it. But doing it the way we're doing it, I think, is easy enough, and there's nothing to swap. It's all set up the way it's supposed to be. So those are the parts, and now you can get on to the chest top bracket installation.